Hello there, and welcome to Master Paul's Game Room, where gaming is for everyone. I am Master Paul, once again joined by Cash Money, and we have some very special guests here in the panel. As always, returning guests, we have Brandon the Anime Guy and the Admiral, the Nerdporeal Lifeform, although he's AFK at the moment. And joining us for the first time, we have Stone Loki and Purple Valkyrie. How are you guys all doing tonight?
Good evening. Doing well, thank you.
Awesome. So let's see real quick who we got in the chat. Of course, Purple Valkyrie, you were the first comments. And Mr. Forgive me if I butcher this, Mr. Esh or ESH Singh. I'm going to go with Esh Singh on that one.
Esh Singh.
Okay, thank you. He says hello, and hello also to Adega Outlaw.
What is up, Adega?
And Project Storytime. And also Echo Base Network themselves. Thank you guys for
What's
popping
up,
in.
Coach?
Is this? It's Coach, isn't it, or is it?
Oh, it's Coach.
I'm gonna guess it's Coach. And Agent Atwood Gaming. Thank you guys for joining us. All right, so we are here tonight because mostly I do gaming streams on this channel, but every so often I like to talk about games that I consider like the best of the best. We've done stuff on the Zelda series. We've done stuff with Mario, and now it's time to talk about Skyrim. So I guess to kick off the conversation, let's go around the horn here and talk about how you guys first heard about Skyrim and what it was like playing it for the first time. And Cash, you can go first.
I heard about it from friends, and then I ended up buying it. And at this point, I've probably bought about 2 or 3 versions because for some reason Bethesda is like, oh, it's time for another Skyrim version. And you're just like, oh, thank you. But why? Yeah. Yeah. It's just one of those games. Like you could just get into the game and start playing it and go and start killing villagers and take their home, and then you get attacked by guards. Like there's just a lot of options in the game. I haven't modded it though, but I've certainly played a lot of Skyrim, but it's certainly a game I need to finish.
Of course, I'm pretty sure any Skyrim gamer has said that at one point. Like there's just so much to do. It's like there's still a main quest line to do.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
Wait,
you
what?
watch your
There's
friends
a quest?
play it. You know, yeah, there's a quest, really. You watch your friends play it. You play it yourself. I mean, there's a long story there. It's cool because you have a lot of options. You can have a sword, shield. You can use magic. It's awesome.
Hello, Mexican Iron Man, who says, I am here for diversity, inclusion, representation, and equity, and non-Latinx representation.
Damn straight. Damn straight,
Yeah,
brother.
man. That's
Absolutely.
Yes.
right.
Thank you for being here, Mexican Iron Man. All right, so Loki, you can go next. How did you first hear about Skyrim?
I was an Elder Scrolls aficionado. I played Morrowind on the original Xbox. I played Elder Scrolls 4 on Xbox 360 and on PC. And of course, when Skyrim came out, I was like, "Ooh, yeah!" And it felt like there was some things missing. Obviously, Bethesda does not like to fix their games. They like to have a whole bunch of missing quest lines and mistakes and bugs and things that the community eventually has to fix. I'm sure we'll go over that later when we talk about mods. But I played the original Skyrim on 360. I, of course, played the enhanced, the special edition when it came out. The new version is basically the enhanced edition, the special edition, with some mods that, of course, kind of came along through the community. There's so many wonderful mods, and that's pretty much why I'm here to talk about the mods. Everyone loves the mods for Skyrim. It enhances the game so much. The community is you've got a huge modding community out there that loves to get their hands into everything about the game. Because while Bethesda may have made one of the greatest open world games ever, like I said before, there's a crap ton of bugs. There's things they didn't finish. And of course, there's things we all want to see in it. Armors from previous games, new armors. So it's like a never ending world that just keeps getting added onto through mods.
Yes, absolutely, and we will 100% be touching on some mods here later on, because there's a couple mods specifically that I want to highlight for you guys, and I'm sure there's a couple mods that you guys will want to specifically highlight for us. So, Nerdporeal, you just got back. So same question to you. How did you first hear about Skyrim?
Well, like Loki, a buddy of mine, we were hanging out at a diner. We talked video games. My buddy got me into RPGs. So when I was in college, I started playing, like all the Super Nintendo, Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasies and stuff. Mm-hmm. Well, he told me about this open world game, which I've never played an open world game before. So not only, the idea of playing a game that doesn't quite end the normal way, it's not like a linear game where you beat it and then it's over. This was totally different, totally weird idea to me that just completely blew me away. So my buddy told me like that he committed genocide in this one game, and that game ended up being Morrowind and stuff. So I ended up picking up the game myself for the Xbox, for the original Xbox, and oh my gosh, I never played such a buggy game in my life. So, but it was a lot of fun. I mean, I must have killed Vivek and Almalexi a lot of times. I felt powerful. I felt like a god. I don't know why. Maybe because they're gods. Yeah, so I played that. Then I played Oblivion. Loved Oblivion on the 360. Played that and its DLC. The Dark Brotherhood quest is my favorite in Oblivion. The buggy, but the main quest, the final part of the main quest, where Dagon comes out and you have the I forget what the hero's name is in the
hero of Kvatch.
Yeah, or the Emperor's offspring, or Emperor's illegitimate offspring. The Emperor in that game is Patrick Stewart. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that final part of the game was so buggy. I didn't quite get to see the ultimate final fight and stuff. And of course, a few years later, Skyrim comes into my life, and let's just say the day I bought it, my first big screen TV, when I started my career and stuff, that was the game. That was the first thing I played. The first thing I did with my new big screen TV. So I played that and played quite a bit of it. I played the main story. I played all the guilds. I even played the DLC, but I never did any of the modding and stuff. So never quite got into that aspect of Elder Scrolls. But I'll say this: when I was taking a break from playing Skyrim, I turned on HBO and I see Sean Bean in another medieval type role. I'm like, oh, this must be a historical piece. Then I see a jousting thing, and then I see a big knight cutting off a horse's head. I was like, holy crap, what am I watching here? This isn't historical. Then it became, then I watched the next episode. Oh, this is called Game of Thrones. So, but that's a story for another day. But I think of Skyrim every time I think of Game of Thrones, because it was the same day. It was the same day that was the day I discovered it. I'd never heard of Game of Thrones before. Never heard of the books. Never heard of George R.R. Martin. Never heard of any of that. So, yeah. Okay. This was 2012. So this was like season 1's been out for a while and stuff. So, but yeah, that's that. I don't want to go too much into it, but yeah, that was so yeah, there's been a long history, and I had this question. I'm like, what's going to come out first, Winds of Winter or Elder Scrolls 6 on Twitter?
Remember that.
Everybody voted for Elder Scrolls 6.
I did too.
Because both Elder Scrolls 5, Skyrim, and Dance with Dragons both came out in 2011, roughly around the same time, within maybe a few months. So that's me.
Awesome. Real quick, Chris Persia has joined us in the chat. Thank you for joining us, man.
What's up, Chris?
Purple Valkyrie, you can go next. How did you first hear about Skyrim?
Similar to the rest of you guys, really. I played the previous games, was a big fan of Oblivion, and we had a bit of a gap between the games, so it was great to have a new Elder Scrolls game come out. And this one, when it was released, I had it on the 360, and it just kind of blew me away with the scope and the detail, and you could pretty much, from the start of the game, go anywhere you wanted. It was very open world, it was very non-linear. You could pick up a quest, then go off on a side quest and completely forget about the original quest that you'd started.
Of course.
And I think people forget just how big this world is that they gave us, even before modding. You know, I think there's over 600 locations that you can go to, right from the huge towns that they've built to tiny little shrines in the middle of nowhere that you can find. Really enjoyed when they released the 3 official DLCs. I thought those were really good add-ons. They brought new life to the game. And then, as you say, with the meme, we just started getting more and more versions of the game released.
Yes.
But I still love it. I still think it is a fantastic game. And once mods became available on PC and on the consoles, it really opened up the world even more for players.
It absolutely did. Real quick, Mexican Ironman says, to me, my God, that has to be the longest headphone extension cord I have ever seen. Boy, don't fall out of that chair because you might choke on that cord. Hashtag white gamer boy lives matter. These really aren't that long. They're just standard Apple headphones. But at some point, I'm going to get something different, get something wireless, because even though these aren't a choking hazard the way they are, they do get in the way of trying to play guitar on stream. So, and Echo Base Network says, I look like it's a me Mario with that.
It's Mario. It's a me Mario. You need a little Mario hat, a hat with an M, to complete the picture.
Yep.
My brother Jonathan has one, but that's at his house right now. Let's see.
Does he wear green?
My brother? No, well, one of my brothers does now. Shout out to Michael, who's in AIT in the Army. But Jonathan just kind of wears whatever he wants.
So the other one's Luigi, and you're Mario.
Yes. If anything, the youngest one, Jonathan, he's Wario. And by the way, hello also to Pacific 414. Thanks for joining. All right, Brandon, your turn. How did you first hear about Skyrim?
Oh, let me count the ways. All right. Skyrim comes out one of the years that I'm in college. I'm working IT support as a student. And I see this little game, and being, college student at the very turn of this decade, flush with cash because of prior administrations, I buy a computer. I see this game. I buy the game. I play it for 25 hours. I didn't like it. I did not like it originally. Now, fast forward about a year or two, no longer in college because ran out of money. Decide, okay, let's take a look at it again, see what's going on. See that through Steam directly, you can add in mods. And for the most part, it works on the original game. After I had added a few mods to make things look better, a little better weapons, and added a pair of shoes that made it to where I could zoom across the whole entire map in just a matter of minutes, I was like, yeah, that's awesome. I can't get hit. I can run away. I can sneak while going fast. So the game itself it's an interesting one because I have spent way more time modding the game than I have playing the game. That's the original. That's the 5-year anniversary edition and everything else. But once I started modding the game, oh yeah, I played as much of it as I could. It was a lot of fun. Never beat it, but I have beaten the main side quests, which are really good, and some of the unofficial add-on quests that are also really good. As far as the game's longevity, this one pretty much takes the cake. Bethesda has their history with the prior Elder Scrolls games. Daggerfall being the one that I recognize the most. It's still probably one of the largest ones they've ever done. But with Morrowind and with Oblivion, the modding scene is what has made their games ultimately successful. Had they not allowed if the creation kit, if they had never released that for people to do mods with, I think the game would have died and only been just a great game for the time, not a game that keeps getting re-released when a new generation of console and PC compilers come out. So, but it's a game that if you're not careful, you'll spend a week or two modding it, and then
Can
start to play
confirm.
it. Yeah.
Can confirm. Yes. So how I first, again with my white cable, it's it's a standard set of Apple headphones. The only, like I said, the only problem I have with this is anytime I try and play guitar, because it'll rub up against the strings and mute it, so I have to like drape it up here, kind of like that. But I'm gonna get something wireless at some point. So I actually heard about Skyrim in a little bit different of a way. Let me show you guys this. I heard about Skyrim through Game Informer magazine, specifically this issue of Game Informer. And I remember this came out in 2011. It was right when Skyward Sword was getting released. And a friend had given it to me on the bus. I was a junior in high school at this point. And I read it because at the time I was just getting into Zelda, and I liked reading about what was going to be happening in Skyward Sword, as well as in this particular edition, they did sort of a retrospective on the whole series, and each different writer gave their thoughts on a different game. After this, they had a section where they reviewed games that had already come out, and Skyrim was one of them. And of course, they mentioned how they had played the previous games like Morrowind and Oblivion. And, they compared it to that game, and they had very high praise about this. I never actually started playing the game until 2014, after I had joined the Navy and had gone overseas to Bahrain. I bought a used PS3 from one of my friends that had Skyrim, and I played it, and I liked it enough back then, but I never really started getting seriously into it until late 2019, 2020, and then got into it even deeper, of course, when lockdown happened and I couldn't work. And that's also when I first got it on PC, started getting serious about modding it, and it's why I still play it to this day, is finding all of these different mods and trying to get it to look as good as possible and find new areas of the map to explore in the mods and so on and so forth with it. Real quick, where is it? Mexican Iron Man says, where is the freaking super chat button? I got money to burn like a Mexican Tijuana Donkey Kong game.
Or like a Mexican Tijuana donkey show operator.
Oh, no.
Oh, also...
Mexican Iron Man, if you want to, you can always pass a little my way. I could always use help with paying for the internet here.
Yes. And hello, by the way, also to Phil
Just
McCracken. As always, hashtag Cash Money loves Star Trek 5.
I swear, one day, Phil. One day
Yes. So, Stone Loki and Purple Valkyrie, you guys aren't... Brandon and Nerdporeal and Cash, you guys know. But Loki and Purple, you guys don't know. Anytime Phil mentions Star Trek 5, I have to play this clip.
Excuse me, I'd just like to ask a question. What does God need with a starship? I said, what does God need with a starship?
Jim, what are you doing? I'm asking you a question.
This is City Alpha 5! Oh, wrong movie. Wrong movie.
Yep. Real quick, Ash Singh tells his Skyrim story. He says, first time I played Skyrim, it was my first game on PC. No idea what Elder Scrolls was. Yeah, same for me on that one, man. Skyrim so far is the only Elder Scrolls game that I've played, at least beyond the tutorial. Had no idea what I was doing. Long story short, level 13 Khajiit, fumbled through the main story and ended up in Blackreach.
Oh dear.
Yes.
One of the really weird things that like nobody knows about, the PS3 version was almost completely unmoddable. None of the mods that worked for 360, none of the mods that worked for PC would work on PS3 because the architecture of the PS3 was so foreign that it could not run the same mod from one system to the other. A lot of the PC and Xbox mods were almost identical except for a little bit of coding. Everything on the PS3 had to be custom done by the modders, completely different coding from the Xbox and the PC because of the weird architecture in the PS3.
Right.
Yeah,
And if I understand correctly, it's still somewhat like that today with the special and anniversary editions. The mods that are available on the PS4 that are like built in with Bethesda.net are different on the PS4 and PS5 compared to Xbox. Although I think that has, I don't know the exact details of it, but it's some sort of licensing agreement that PlayStation doesn't have, I think, with Microsoft or something.
Sony doesn't like having their code looked at or potentially tampered with. It's a Sony thing entirely. You know, specifically with the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 on up, they're architecturally almost exactly identical. So it's not a coding problem now. It's strictly a how much level of access will Sony allow the modders to have, and in that regard, it's very little.
Yeah, the problem stopped up to the PS3 because of how alien the PS3 was compared to every other system out on the market.
Yeah, the PS3 architecture is definitely way out there compared to everything else at the time.
I know we had to pay more for the original PS3, but I still miss that we had PS1, PS2, and PS3 games we could all play on that. That was
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, too bad the processor in that original was a 90 nanometer, and that process ran hotter than hell. It was bad. It was really bad.
Oh yeah, I've always been loyal to Xbox over PlayStation, especially that particular generation. But having had both of that generation, I 100% believe that. All right, so let's go ahead and get into different aspects of the game. Actually, before we do that, let me ask you this. I know a lot of you guys have mentioned that you played other Elder Scroll games before this one. Do you guys just really quick want to shoot on basically what game do you think Skyrim is better than those games, or do you think there's a game in Elder Scrolls past catalog that's better than Skyrim, or is better implemented, we'll say?
I mean, I really liked how, like, Morrowind, like, you can, like, just, like, you know, once again, you could kill anybody you wanted to. I know the blood fever, you know, hits even the best of us. I'm not saying I'm better than everyone else, but I'm just saying. But, like, it was, I mean, they had these, they put more as they made more Elder Scrolls games, there were more limitations to me, so you couldn't really, like, I could, like, once again, like I said, like, I went all the way, when I leveled up, when I figured out how to level up high enough, I just went all the way to the capital city of Vivek. I just walked up to the god, I just hit him twice, and I killed him. And then the game said, hey, you screwed up the timeline. God help you for screwing up the timeline and stuff. So, Oblivion, I felt Oblivion, did a decent amount. I mean, they did add some limitations, but I actually really liked. I feel the writing was better in Oblivion, especially the Dark Brotherhood thing. The Dark Brotherhood was the best guild. It was probably the most enjoyable experience that I had playing. So, but I did like Skyrim too. So they're all really close together and stuff. So,
Mexican Iron Man says, "How much do I have to super chat here to get Master Paul to do a Skyrim dance on that construction crane microphone stand?"
Well, it's a good thing he hasn't seen mine.
Oh man,
yeah. Whatever it is that I haven't seen, Brandon, it's probably a good thing I haven't seen it. So, yeah, what were you about to say, Loki?
I was just gonna say I agreed with Nerdporeal. I played, playing Morrowind was fun. You got to do some really cool stuff in Morrowind. It was kind of everything's all over the place. You had some expansions that were fun, but really Oblivion. I mean, you get Oblivion, a really good, stable, modded version of Oblivion. You've got Patrick Stewart as Septimus. You've got Sean Bean as the bastard offspring.
That was Sean Bean? That was Sean Bean?
That
Holy
was Sean
crap.
Bean.
And he dies. And he dies.
I
Excuse me.
can tell
course he
you though,
dies.
there's something he hasn't died in yet, and that was Snowpiercer. He's still alive, so I'm happy for that.
He also didn't die, by the way, in National Treasure. He just got arrested.
Oh, that's right. So 2. It's 2 then.
You've got that burst real like, okay, we're gonna come out with like a ultimate edition of the game, even though they didn't upgrade the graphics like they did with Skyrim. Skyrim's been the big, okay, Bethesda, we're gonna milk this. We're gonna milk the original game. We're gonna milk the special edition. We're gonna milk the new edition on Xbox One X and PS5. We're gonna milk. And we see Rockstar doing this with Grand Theft Auto 5 too. Came out on 360, came out on Xbox and PS4, and then has come out again on the new systems. And there's not that much different. All they added with Skyrim really were the mods, the 4 mods where you could fish and you can get new armor and you could get staves and you can do some new stuff with magic. That's really all they've added. They really didn't give it a graphical overhaul again and add anything because it was already there with the special edition. If you own the special edition, there is no reason you have to go out and buy the new edition on PC. If you have it on PC, you pretty much got exactly what's on PS5 and Xbox One X except for the new mods.
One other thing I forgot to mention that was not in these games, maybe they were in the mods, you guys can answer this for me. Morrowind had this ability, this spell that you could do called Levitate, where you can just literally run across the sky. And I thought it was the coolest thing in the game. I was so disappointed that they didn't have that in Oblivion or Skyrim. Were they included in any mods or something?
I'm 99% sure
kind
that was in the werewolf expansion. I'm 99% sure it was in the werewolf expansion.
Yeah, when you're playing as a vampire in the Dawnguard DLC and you become the big vampire lord, the bat monster, you can unlock the perk that will allow you to like glide from a high place, but like actually flying up and gliding, no.
Okay.
Because you could get that on your boots in Morrowind as well. You could get boots that would let you do that.
Yeah, because my buddy told me once he crafted a spell where he literally just like he ran above a town and he basically shot like this spell and he nuked a town, killing everyone in the town. I'm saying like that was that's kind of why that was part of the appeal. And that's one of the things the whole idea of levitating was so cool to me. So,
yes, and real quick, hello to Lord. I'm probably gonna butcher this. Lord Guy Mater, who says, "Can I borrow that cable? I could choke He-Man and all of his friends with it at the same time."
What? 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 What?
You're going to keep getting crap for that until you replace
I
it.
know. And you know whose fault it is? It's Echo Based Network's fault because they specifically just put on Twitter, get in here and give Paul crap for how long the cable is. You know why it looks so long? Because the cable's actually in front of me right now. It's not just to the side, it's in front of me, so it looks bigger.
That's what she said.
I was waiting for someone to say that.
Yeah.
And I didn't want anyone to say it.
And hello also to Mark the Infinitely Tired, who
What
says,
is up, Mark?
playing Fortnite with the cookies, just dropping in to say hello. Thank you. Oh yeah, Interesting does bring up a good point. Skyrim has that same levitate spell on PC. It's called the Toggle Collisions console command.
Yes.
Pacific says, I was watching a DVD on the Road Warriors Hawk and Animal when it happened. It was Hawk and Animal who gave my PS3 the Doomsday device. I guess you're talking about when your PlayStation crashed?
Probably.
Was Oblivion the one that came out? I was trying to remember if it was around the 360 or it was
2006.
Yeah.
It was exclusive to the Xbox 360 and to the PC. And I got past about the first few minutes of it, and then I stopped playing it.
PS3
Oblivion just
got
wasn't
it.
for me.
PS3 got it. It wasn't until they did the Knights of the Nine and the other DLC. There was another DLC attached to it.
Oh, there you go.
They eventually got it. Everything took longer. That was the thing with PS3. Everything took longer to adapt to it because the architecture was weird.
Mm-hmm. Well, you also have to remember that at that time, the PS3, even though it was running a custom PowerPC processor, it was using a NVIDIA graphics setup with a dedicated 256 megs of RAM, whereas the Xbox 360 was PowerPC with an AMD GPU, but it had a unified memory architecture of 512. If they programmed it wrong, they would run out of VRAM on the PS3 real quick, and a perfect example of that is Bayonetta. Bayonetta on the Xbox 360 is perfect. On the PS3, it's a dog turd. It just couldn't hold the frame rate, not even close. And that's the main architectural difference there.
Yep. Also, we had Darth Arlena join, and
What's
we have
up, Darth Arlena?
Hey,
and we have
Arlena.
Coffee on Korriban.
What's up, Coffee?
Hey.
Hey, been
All
a
right.
while, Coffee. Good to see you.
And Phil, I saw the comment you just posted. I'm going to save that one because it's going to become important here in just a moment. So let's go ahead and get into the story of this game. So you're always a protagonist that starts out captured in some way. I know that in Oblivion, the little bit that I played of that one, you start out in a jail cell in the Imperial Palace. This one, you start out as a prisoner that, quote, got caught trying to cross the border, walked right into that Imperial ambush.
Finally awake.
Yes.
Oh, that.
At least
Wait,
he didn't say your face is tired.
Exactly.
I think in Morrowind you were also a prisoner too, but this time you were on a boat.
Yep,
like
you're on a ship.
Everyone calls you Outlander because in Morrowind I think that's the home of the Dark
Khajiit
Elves,
and the Khajiit.
the Dunmer. I think they're called the Dunmer or something. Okay.
Yes. And so they thought that you were part of a party that was traveling with Ulfric Stormcloak, who, depending on who you ask, had either claimed his rightful place as High King of Skyrim or usurped that place. Either way, he challenged the High King Torrid to a fight for the throne due to how Torrid was handling relations with the Empire and the Thalmor, and he used the power of the voice to defeat him, which many considered cheating. And so that sparked the Civil War, and the Empire captured Ulfric and was leading him to Helgen to be executed, and you just got caught in the process. So after you go through your character customization, where you could be a Nord, a High Elf, a Dark Elf, Wood Elf, Khajiit, Orc, Breton, or Imperial or Redguard, I think I got all of them, you watch an execution happen. But before it's your turn to get your head cut off, and Agent Atwood, I just saw your friend request on Discord, thank you. The execution gets interrupted by Alduin, who is this giant abomination of a dragon who just completely reduces the town to rubble. And so you Yep, he is the World Eater. So you escape with different help from both sides, Rayloff and Hadvar. And then at a certain point, you're given a choice where you either choose to enter the castle and escape with either Rayloff or Hadvar. So in a way, your loyalties are already being tested here because it was a mistake that the Imperials got you there, and Hadvar points that out. Hey, Captain, what are we going to do? This guy's not on the list. But at the same time, it was also the Imperial captain that he's working with, and he's like, forget the list. We're going to kill him anyways. And Rayloff never got orders from Ulfric saying, forget him. He's not part of us. Kill him anyway. So my next question is, anytime you guys start up a new playthrough and you're not doing any sort of alternate start mod, who do you guys usually enter with, Rayloff or Hadvar?
At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Your story
Agreed.
isn't affected either way. So it's like, just which way do you want to go? Do you want to go with the Viking looking dude in the blue and gold, or do you want to go with the Imperial officer? At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter which one you do, besides like a piece of dialogue when you decide, well, I'm gonna go fight for this side, or I'm gonna go fight for that side. There might, oh, I remember they were gonna cut your head off. Oh, and then you pick, and that's it. So it really doesn't matter which way you go or who you go with, unless you have a certain, well, I don't like this side, so I'm gonna go with this side. So it's all indefinite player choice.
Yeah, I've done both as well, just out of curiosity to see if there was any big difference between the gameplay. But as much as I do like the opening of the game, it does get tedious after a while. So when they gave us the Another Life mod, it was a blessing to be able to skip that.
Yeah, that's the only way I play anymore.
Well, here's what I'll tell you, Paul.
Yes.
I have gone through that introductory part way more times than I should have been allowed to do. It's about half. I originally did more with the Imperials, but recently I've done more with the Stormcloaks, and having gone through as much of the main game or that particular part of the quest, I'm a Stormcloak guy. I like their outfits better. I like Ulfric Stormcloak better than I do General Tullius. And it's good to be a rebel.
Yes, it is. I'll be honest. There's times that I just can't decide and would straight up say, you know what, screw the Civil War. I'm gonna do my own thing.
Yep.
Because I'll let you guys know right now, especially ever since I started modding, I almost always play as a vampire character. And my reasoning is, why in the world would a vampire who is a mortal really care about the petty squabbles of a government that they will likely outlive?
And that's the true rebel, Paul. That is the true rebel, is the rebel that decides his own fate. He doesn't let anybody else decide his fate for him. Exactly.
Mexican Iron Man says he thinks the best quest was the Fallen, and the Windhelm battle was also good. Okay. Oh, Agent Atwood just sent me a friend request on Epic. Thank you. So after you escape with whatever party member you choose, you make your way to Riverwood, warn some family member of who you went with about the dragons, and then you go to Whiterun, your first big city, and you meet Jarl Balgruuf, who sends you basically to go and search for the Dragonstone, and that starts the whole big quest of you versus Alduin, where you learn, thanks to the Greybeards, you are the Dragonborn. You have the ability to take in a dragon's soul after you've killed it and turn that into the power of the voice, where you can learn a shouting word quickly. That's the whole Fus Roda sort of thing. And where it would take someone like the Greybeards years to study it, you just pick it up like that. And then from there, it's a way to figure out how to defeat Alduin. So, what did you guys think? I know a lot of you guys have mentioned that you never finished the main quest line.
Nope.
Is there anyone here aside from me that has?
I have.
Okay.
I did.
Okay.
When this came out originally on PC and 360, there was a giant book, hardback book you could get, and that pretty much would walk you through every single side quest, main quest, and a lot of it was buggy because, yeah, you're dealing with Bethesda, but it pretty much took you from A to B to C to D until you had done everything in the game. Like I said before, the only problem with that was you would get to something and then it'd be like, nope, can't finish this. And you couldn't finish it because you had made some choice earlier and the game bugged out and suddenly you couldn't finish certain quests.
Right.
Yeah,
Speaking
Bethesda,
of that...
Yep.
Oh, go ahead.
Yep, that's the Bethesda promise. We will never complete the game, and it will crash on you.
Love
It's-
Todd Howard.
Oh yeah,
It just works. Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
works.
It just
It's-
works.
It is how it is now. I do remember that there was when the game was still younger, there was one bug that they did fix that people went back to them and complained about it because I guess they had whoever was playing it heavily at the time liked the bug, so they went back and undid it. The community revolving around Skyrim can be a bit weird in that respect.
Mm-hmm.
Which one was that? It wasn't the one where you get launched into outer space with the giants, was it? 'Cause then-
I don't remember. Well,
Mm.
it might be that one. Hold on, memory's triggering. I do think it did have to do with the giant stomping. If you were a low enough level, if they stomped you, yeah, you'd get launched way up.
Oh
I do
yeah,
think
yeah, I remember
was the
that.
one they fixed, and people were like, "Why'd you do that? That was cool."
Yeah, people like that effect. Yeah.
You got to have some creature in there that's got to give you a challenge at least for a while.
Oh man, yeah, that I don't think I fought a giant directly until I was like level 30 or 35 or something. They would just tear me apart one hit. So
With the
I remember-
original.
I remember.
Go ahead, sorry.
I remember fighting Alduin on top of the mountain, and oh my gosh, it took me like 2 hours to beat him. I was at my wit's end. I'm like, I'm not gonna beat him. I'm not gonna beat him because I just kept shooting arrows and arrows and arrows at him. He just would not come down for me to hit him directly. And luckily enough, after 2 hours, I beat him. I did, and that was basically the big fight. The final fight was to me underwhelming. When you go into Valhalla, no offense, Loki.
Oh no, it's cool, brother. That's
I think it was. I think it was Was that Valhalla or something?
It was Sovngarde. is what
Sovngarde.
it is.
Dawnguard.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sovngarde. Okay,
Yes.
but it's based on Valhalla, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. By the way, I've seen a couple people in the chat asking where the super chat button is. Obviously, this channel and the Star Wars guys were not monetized yet, but I do have a tip jar here. If I think it works. I don't know, but it's there, and I will pin it at the top of the chat so it doesn't go past. So yeah, I also have finished the main quest line, and I'll be honest, I was a little bit let down by what happens, because maybe it was because I had done too many side quests beforehand and was pretty well leveled up by the time I got to the main quest line, but I thought Alduin was kind of easy.
Bethesda doesn't expect you to do all the side quests or even come close to doing all the side quests. So if you do everything in this game, if you max out your stats, if you max out your skills, if you become proficient in everything, you're going to just, it's steamrolling. There are mods in the modding community that actually have a better scale to your enemies, to where when you come up against a boss like that, it's not downscaled so you just one-shot it. He will be scaled to your level, and it will be an epic, monstrous battle instead of the one-shot, one-kill, easy peasy, lemon squeezy shit you get if you overlevel your character.
Of
Level
course.
list enhancements and level list changes and zone, lots of things you can do to limit where you can go until you get to a certain level, or having these creatures either level with you or be well above you way longer, making it to where it makes it a lot harder to just buzz through it.
Right. And Mexican Iron Man, I see what you said in the chat that the tip jar is not working. I'm trying to fix that.
We don't want pesos, Mike. We don't want, you can't pay in pesos. Stop trying to pay in pesos on YouTube.
Yeah, Mike, come on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's not working. I don't know what's
Yeah,
going on.
I'm trying to get it fixed now. It should go directly to my PayPal.
Yeah, getting that set up can be trifling at times. So
Yeah.
you'll get
But
it fixed. You'll get some money coming in.
And the fact that you guys are asking where is it, I really do appreciate that you guys are willing to do that for me. really do appreciate it. And also, since this stream started, we have jumped up from 194 subscribers here on this channel to 204. So thank you guys for that.
Nice.
But I will also,
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Yes.
and also Echo Base says, oh, wrong one. Echo Base says, Night all, good job, PJ. You handled the trolling well. Thank you.
Take it easy, coach.
See you later.
Okay.
Coach.
See you, Coach.
See you soon, brother.
Yes, good night, man. So yeah, I think it should be working now, but I'm not sure. We'll
Mess with
find
it on
out
the
later.
Back end. We'll take a
Yeah.
look at it and see.
So that's so yeah, like I said, Alduin, the final boss, kind of disappointed me, but at the same time, there were a lot of great moments that I liked in the main quest line. For example, sneaking through the Thalmor embassy by going into the dinner party, having someone causing a scene, and then sneaking around the back, avoiding everyone, or if you're like me, killing everyone. That was fun. So what moments of the main quest line stuck out to you guys?
First dragon you talked to. First dragon you actually talk to, when you learn, more about what you are. You get that bit with the monks, but when you actually, hey, you're Dragonborn. You're part dragon. You end up being able to ride a dragon.
Oh,
you
yeah.
can summon a dragon and you can ride a dragon. What is cooler than that? Is being able to summon a dragon, ride a dragon, fight a dragon with a dragon. You're the shit.
That's
And
the mission.
and you can shout at people too.
That's the mission, the Fallen that Mexican Iron Man was talking about earlier, where you call back to Whiterun that one dragon and you bring him in and get him trapped in that big gate.
Yes, it falls on him and captures him. I love that.
Mm-hmm. And then he takes you to Skulldorfen, where Alduin's base is.
Yeah.
Didn't some of the other dragons have names too, besides Parthenax and?
The one
did they
that
all have names? Did they all have names that you fight throughout the game?
The important ones, yes. There's thousands of like dragon or elder dragon or blood dragon, revered dragon, so on and so forth. But the main important ones, there's of course, I can't Murmelnir, I think it is. He's the first one you actually fight. Then there's Parthenax, of course, that you meet on top of the mountain. There's Odavig, the one that you fight in the Fallen, the one that actually will let you ride on him. There's, of course, Alduin, the main bad one. There's Salakir, another one you fight. And then there's Durnavir, who is an undead dragon that you fight and actually get help from in the Dawnguard DLC.
Yep.
Yes, and you can call him then with a shout.
Yep. By the way, hello to the VacTube, who says, last time I played, the dragon teabagged me and it left a dent in my skull.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
Yep, Daryl.
I don't remember, Paul, or anybody else on this panel, if the dragons are if they yell at you like all the other characters. I remember you run into witches and stuff. They tell you you're trash. You should go die in a fire or something.
No.
Okay.
No, they don't. And Ash Singh also brings up an interesting trivia thing. Charles Martinet voices Parthenax, same guy who voiced Mario.
Yeah, that's right. I remember learning about that. I completely forgot about that until now. I had to listen. I'm like, is that him? Woohoo!
Yep.
I was like, no, it doesn't sound at all like his Mario voice. So, as far as I'm concerned, he should be playing Mario in this new Mario film, and not.
I agree.
And not
Chris Pratt.
Not Chris Pratt, because I'm going to hear Chris Pratt playing Chris Pratt. Like his role in Jurassic World and his role in Guardians of the Galaxy the performances are almost exactly the same. I don't think he's going to be any different from Mario. If he is, I'll be surprised.
Well, we will see what happens with that. So that's pretty much all I can think about to talk about with the main quest line. So let's get into the real meat of the game, the side quests. So I have played just about all of the side quests except the Dark Brotherhood DLC because I honestly can't bring myself to be an evil character. Even if I do, I can't help it.
Oh, that's the best part is being an evil killer assassin.
I'm sure I'll do it I'm sure I'll do it at some point just to say I did. But I do genuinely like playing good characters, even if I do play a vampire.
But it's so boring.
Hail Sithis.
But we'll
good is so
we'll get to
boring.
those. We'll get to those quests in a minute, though. I do actually want to start with the Civil War quest line, and we're actually going to start with a comment that Phil had said earlier, where apparently it's revealed in a note. He says there's a note where you read that says Imperials are sending 2 legions into Skyrim when snow clears. So no matter what side you choose in the Civil War, even if the Stormcloaks win, those 2 legions are still going to come in, and ultimately it's for nothing.
Well, we're going to find out if they ever decide to actually make the 6th game instead of remaking this one 15 fucking times.
That's right.
Whoa,
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm like, when they released the Switch and I hear, we're making a Skyrim, but a Zelda edition. I'm like, I was rolling my eyes. I'm like, what's gonna? I asked even back then, what's gonna come out first? That Elder Scrolls 6 or Winds of Winter?
Yes, we also
Now it's
got
looking like Elder Scrolls 6, but that's still years away. I mean, Starfield is Bethesda's next game that they're going to release, and everything's going to be Xbox. I think Xbox and PC exclusive.
No.
Oh, wait, maybe
Bill
not
Spencer
Starfield.
came out and said, we will not be holding exclusivity over the Bethesda games. If Sony wants them, then they will work out an arrangement with Sony. If they don't, then they won't. But it'll be up to Sony whether Sony wants them or not.
I don't think Sony wants to work with.
Bill Spencer wants to make money. He doesn't care what they come out on. He doesn't want exclusivity. He just wants to make money. They're there to make money. Sony's the one acting like little bitches lately.
Yes, we also got a VR version as well, didn't we?
I don't know.
Yep.
Has anyone played the VR version? I have.
No, that would make me sick.
No.
That would make me sick.
No,
It's not full. It's not like fluid. It's not like where you're playing. You actually have to like key in where you're going to move. There is no just walking around and looking around like that. It's all keying like Doom. When they came out with Doom 2016 on VR, it's like you push button to move. You don't actually move with the control sticks. That way you don't make yourself sick moving around the level. It's different. It's different. You key in where you move and it moves you there. So you're not using the sticks to move back and forth and look around.
Interesting. I don't know if this computer can run VR, but I might give it a try.
As I said, it would make me a bit sick. But as far as what'll come out first, Elder Scrolls 6 or whatever the hell GRR is supposed to be doing. As sad as it sounds, I put my money on Skyrim or not Skyrim,
too.
Elder Scrolls 6.
Me too.
I think it's going to be called Hammer. It's probably going to be called Hammerfell because I think that's where 6 is taking place. If you've seen the trailer,
I think so too.
Yeah, is it the
Red? I think were they called the Red Guards? What are they called? The
yes.
Red
Red
Guards.
Guard, yeah.
That's their native. That's their native land.
The curved swordsman.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They have curved swords, don't you know? Curved swords.
Oh, Paul's getting into the innuendo humor. Oh,
wait, that's an innuendo?
Yes.
That one flew right over my head.
The curved saber.
Oh
boy.
I feel good now.
All right, so getting back to what we were talking about with the Civil War. So what we just learned from Phil aside, we already talked about, when you first start the game, whether you choose Hadvar or Ralof. But whenever you guys do play the Civil War, who do you guys usually side with? I know some of you guys have already mentioned that you side with the Stormcloaks mostly. But aside from that, who do you guys like to side with more?
Depends on the character I've created. If I've created like a ranger or a woodsman or something of that nature, I'll always go with the Stormcloaks. If If you're something else, you pretty much do whatever you want. If you're anti-imperial, Stormcloaks, of course.
Right.
If you're more in line with the way that they run things, then you go with the other side. It all depends. To me, it all depends on character. I'm very role play character based, so I'm gonna do what makes most sense to my character.
See, me too. And honestly, the whole vampire, why do they care aside, I at times genuinely cannot decide, because I look at it from the frame of who between the two is right. Like, who's the best fit for Skyrim? Because the real threat to Skyrim isn't just the dragons, it's the Thalmor, because they are trying to take over everything, and the Thalmor already fought a big bloody war against the Empire. But at the same time, if the Thalmor decide they wanted to break the peace treaty, which one would be able to hold them off better? And by that logic, I would think the Empire would be better equipped and better trained. So I have only played through the Civil War questline completely once, and it was on the side of the Empire.
Yeah, I was the same for me. So yeah, I feel kind of dirty inside siding with the Empire, because it's the Empire. Empires are bad, aren't they? Aren't they always?
Yeah.
I always felt like the way the Stormcloaks operate, they should have been more guerrilla war type tactics. You don't go out and fight an army head to head when you're outnumbered like that. And they know Skyrim better than anyone. The Stormcloaks know Skyrim better than anyone. They're the ones who need to be hiding in the mountains, guerrilla war type tactics. You don't siege a castle. What you do is you sabotage the walls, you get the walls down, and then you go in cover of night while everyone's sleeping, and you do the dirty deeds that you do. You do not fight a head-to-head battle when you're outmanned and outgunned. You use guerrilla war type tactics, no matter what those tactics are. That's where me and you disagree, Paul. Is because if you're fighting, you fight dirty. You use every trick and technique imaginable to take out an enemy. Don't walk up like the British during the Civil War and just fight line to line.
Right.
Hence why we lost Vietnam. Same idea. North Vietnamese in the mountains and stuff. Guerrilla warfare tactics.
That's right.
Yeah, they fought dirty. And yeah, if you are outnumbered like that, you have to fight dirty. So
yeah, and the thing is, I don't know if any of you. I was watching a video that was basically someone was narrating, Sun Tzu's Art of War and stuff. I only listened to part of it. But like the very first part of the book, the last thing you ever want to do is lay a siege. It's the worst. It's the worst thing you want to do if you want to win a war and stuff. So yeah.
Okay. Purple, anything you want to add to this?
I tend to side with the Stormcloaks, to be honest. Partly because of the setting, and partly because of the suppression of Talos. I always think that that's an interesting angle in the game as well. So that's kind of why I go for them.
You're exactly right.
I the 9, I swear.
Phil McCracken says Ulfric Stormcloak is a Thalmor spy. It's in the dossier in the Thalmor headquarters. I don't know if that's concrete confirmation there. I think if anything they're just implying. I think they mention him as someone of great interest, I believe. Mm-hmm. But I could see where that is a strong theory. Okay, so let's see some other side quests to get into. How about the companions? What do you guys think of them?
Oh, I love the companions. That. Yes, they're one of my favorites. I always, if I play, go to the companions.
Yes,
that's the Fighters Guild, right? In this game.
Yes.
Okay.
They're also the werewolves. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. They're more like an adventurers type guild and a sword for hire type guild, but yeah, they're fun. It's fun becoming a Lycan at least for a while until you can't sleep and can't get rest bonuses, and then you gotta go where let's see, what's his name? Ysmir is buried with the big ol' axe.
Ysgramor.
Ysgramor.
Yeah, I've been through that. I love it.
Again, to me, it's all about what kind of character you're playing. if you're playing a character that would do that, sure. If you're not, then I skip
Then
it.
yeah.
It's like I wouldn't join the Brotherhood if I was playing a noble knight. So to me, it all depends on how you're playing the game and what you want your character to be, which you have a ton of options with the different guilds, the different setups, the Thieves Guild, the companions. You've got so many options and so many ways to play it. You can play it a different way every single time.
Well, I have to make a confession. There's only one way I've ever played this game,
Which
and
is
that's with the Nordsman, two-handed weapon, light armor, sneaking with healing ability. That's the only way I've ever played it. I've never played any other character type. I've never done single-handed weapons with shields. I think that's stupid. I've never done any of the different types of magic other than the base healing. So more or less a light armored paladin-ish type person that can sneak and smack you with a warhammer.
Yeah. Be honest, I can relate to that sentiment too, because especially since I got it into modding, and this, I'm not going to confirm nor deny what sort of mods I have, but ever since I started getting into modding, I have always played some variation of a hot vampire lady that uses a one-handed sword in one hand and the vampiric drain in the other.
Yeah, that'll do it.
What's the term for that type of a character? Sword and
Spell
not sword and
sword.
sorcery.
I was going to say sword and suck, but yes.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Yes.
I don't know. I like the rogue characters, assassins, and using a bow with magic, and I like to sneak around my characters. So.
I really like the magic in Skyrim. I thought some of the spells were really well done.
Yeah.
It's why I love the College of Winterhold.
Yeah, let's talk about them. I've played through that quest line only once also, and I thought that one was okay. I'm not the biggest fan of using magic, but I liked it enough.
I keep forgetting that it wasn't called Winterfell. I got Winterhold and Winterfell mixed up. I thought like Skyrim took the name from Song of Ice and Fire and stuff. So yeah, for the longest time until I finally verified that it was called Winterhold instead of Winterfell. So
right.
Yeah.
And also in pretty much all of these like faction-based side quests, it obviously time passes within the game when you travel from place to place, but in real life it's all in a day. So it feels like you show up to this one faction, say the College of Winterhold, and you show up, you're pretty much a nobody. You're at the bottom of the barrel of this faction. But as you do your stuff, you start progressing higher and higher until by the end of it, you're the leader. And that was the most noticeable to me with the College of Winterhold. Wouldn't you guys say?
Yeah, but it's like that with almost all of them.
Yeah, you mean the progression, yeah.
Well, that's partly a Bethesda not thinking things through or thinking that people don't care. And that's where some of these mods that I've used come into it, where you have to be a certain level to start a certain faction quest. And then after you complete one, you have to have so much time pass before you can do the next, or have certain levels to be able to continue it. So that way you're not just showing up one day and then the next day you're the king top stuff person-ish thing.
Of course. Let's see.
Yeah,
Ash
no
Singh
rushing.
says, I can't help it. I try light armor, sneak, or archer build, or just mage. Nope. Always turns into a two-handed tank.
And you see, two-handed weapons are the only way that I've ever rolled. I did it with heavy armor on the Nord. The thing is, the Nord has a higher they have higher stats to start with light armor, so it's a little easier for them to start that way. But unlike certain other classes, they do give you a little bonus to the heavy. But it is kind of, with the right mods, you can You can sneak around with heavy armor, no one can hear you, and switch your warhammer for a pair of daggers that you can pull off your back with the proper mod, and go slice and dice, back attack.
Yes. By the way, Brandon, something that you said apparently has triggered Phil.
Yes, it's the fact that I've only ever played a Nord. That's what Phil's all upset about. But then again, he's telling us, all you Stormcloak scum, we're gonna wipe, salt the earth with your blood or something like that. So I see you, Phil.
Seems personal.
I think the only guild that I never really enjoyed was the Thieves Guild because it was really monotonous, I found. I got as far as when you got the skeleton key, and then I just kind of leave it and go do something else.
Yeah, I would say as of right now, the Thieves Guild, if we're not counting any of the DLCs, is my favorite faction-based side quest because getting the skeleton key, getting stabbed in the back literally by Mercer Frey, the leader of the guild, it's a really interesting story to me. Although I do have a gripe with it that I wish there was a little bit more actually thieving instead of your usual dungeon crawl or exploring a Dwemer ruin.
Yeah, that's a Bethesda not thinking things through, boo-boo. But I do think there are some mods out there. Yeah.
If you played more than one Bethesda game, you know that pattern.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
very true.
I'm currently playing through Fallout 4 right now, and I'm noticing a lot. I'm noticing a lot of similarities.
Yep, same problems, same everything. Although with it has not received the same treatment as Skyrim has, having a full recompiling of the game, redoing of the graphics every 5 years. It hasn't received that same level of love.
No, it hasn't.
Right.
Although I will say there is one much more tedious quest that you can do, and once you pick the item up, you're kind of stuck with them. It's the Stones of Baron Zara.
Oh, I don't touch those.
Yeah,
I don't touch those.
You can't get rid of the damn things once you've got them.
Yeah. Apparently there's only one place. Apparently there's only one place you can take them to once you have them, and you have to find every single one of them just to build this crown.
Yeah, it's really not worth it.
So next after that, let's talk about the Dark Brotherhood. And like I said, I never finished this one, so I don't care about spoilers. So this is all you guys.
Yes, the Dark Brother. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up right there.
Fair enough.
Let me put it this way. Every time that starts, after you finish the Dark Sacrifice and complete the kid's contract, and the leader comes to get you, I kill her right then and there, and that's the end of it.
Oh, I've done that. I've done that a couple times too. And
well,
then
she has the armor that's unique to her, and
you're missing out on one of the craziest people in the game, though. If you do that, because the guy hauling around Mother
Cicero.
in the is one of the craziest, batshit crazy people in any Skyrim, in any of the Elder Scrolls games you'll ever play.
I love the voice actor for him. He was so good.
He's literally like the Joker.
Yes.
Joker and Kefka and all that other stuff. Yeah, he going to help him and getting him some help. Yeah, and then dealing with Mother. I've seen this where that goes, but I've never been there myself.
You should definitely partake in that.
Ooh, here's an interesting question from Esh Singh. He says, "Question: I never looked into it. Which of the three people actually had the hit of them? I always just killed them all." So what he's talking about is when you are first kidnapped by the Dark Brotherhood, you're presented with three different people, and Astrid says one of them has a hit on them. You pick out which one you think it is and kill them. Now, I always killed the Khajiit person because that's who I thought it was, but I'd never figured out who it actually was.
It's all three of them. It's all three of them. That's why if you kill all three of them, they're like, "Oh, what a wonderful solution," because all three of them had the hit on them.
Oh,
There's your
wow.
answer.
Yeah, technically there is no
Interesting.
innocent party.
Yeah, there is no one innocent in that group. They all have a hit out on them. If you pick one, you're successful. If you pick all of them, you're even more successful.
I may have to try that.
That just sounds evil.
It does. It really does.
Yeah, that fits certain personality types.
Yes. Or if you're against evil, like I am, you can choose to kill Astrid and then go to Dragonbridge and tell the commander of the Penitus Oculatus what you did, and he'll say, okay, you killed Astrid, great. Go kill all the rest of the Dark Brotherhood, and I'll reward you.
You need to push yourself, Paul.
I know.
Go evil.
I know.
Try
I
evil.
know.
You
I know.
gotta embrace the
Missing
dark
out,
side.
man.
It's,
All right,
it's
I'll
worth it
try it.
just for the armor as well. The Dark
Oh, yeah.
Brotherhood has some of the best armor.
Fair enough.
All right, I'll do it. I'll make that an objective of mine. Paul, you and me,
Yeah.
we're going to the dark side. We're gonna do the rule of two. You and I, master and apprentice, we shall conquer and run that organization.
All right. Okay. And that's
I love how he says, okay.
yeah. And then of course there's a whole bunch of other quests that aren't really faction. Well, there's one faction that we haven't talked about, but they kind of don't matter. The Bard's College. You know, they're just there. The only thing really the good that you get out of that is you get the second word to the whirlwind sprint shouts, which I do just for that. But the Bard's College, like special perks or anything like that, you really don't get anything.
Yes, there's also the blades as well, but to do the blades, I have to have the Parthenax Dilemma mod on.
Yeah, that's an absolute. That's another thing that Bethesda in their infinite wisdom didn't think through. But as far as the Bard's College goes, if you run, the one that I typically use is Ordinator Perks. It completely overhauls everything. And in the verbal communications tree, there are a lot of things that you can pick up that if you're a bard, like being able to make a little extra coin or having extra abilities, or if I remember correctly, even a quicker cooldown for your shouts. So going to the Bard's College that way does make more sense. Plus then you can go out and sing, toss a coin to your Skyrim master, O Valley of Skyrim.
I think I like the original better. Don't blame me.
Yeah. Yeah, that other than that, in just the standard, yeah, the Bard's College is primarily a waste.
I know what we haven't talked about though with quests, the Daedric quests.
That is a good one. All right, so being honest, I haven't played through all of them because I've made it to like levels 20s and 30s. So I've never played all of them because I know that there are some that you do have to be a certain level to do. So I've never played through Boethia's. I've never played through Mathala's, all 5 seconds of it. But I've played through just about all the other ones. And I have to say, I think my favorite one is the one for Molag Bal.
Yes, House of Horrors.
That is the closest. That is the closest that I will ever go to being evil. And I only do it because, again, I play a vampire, and Molag Bal created the vampires.
Oh, isn't that is that the one in Markarth?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I love the mace. I love getting that mace. It's so awesome.
The mace is awesome. Yeah.
Another good one I like doing, and I'm probably in the minority for this one, is Break of Dawn. You know, the whole "a new hand touches the beacon." I genuinely do not mind hearing that because I love getting the Dawnbreaker sword. And I love going through that dungeon.
Yes. Azora is really good as well to get the Black Star. That's very, very useful.
Yep.
And I always liked Hermaeus Mora. I liked doing his quests because I just find him a really interesting character.
Absolutely, especially when we get into talking about the Dragonborn DLC that he pretty much takes center stage of.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, what's another one that I liked?
Yeah, talk
I-
about some Lovecraftian horror there. Oof.
Oh yeah.
Her scene is really good.
I
if you
think
play
Harvey.
Werewolf.
I think Harvey Cthulhu needs to sue for gimmick infringement with Hermaeus Mora.
Uh, yeah, most likely.
Let's see. What's another good Daedric quest? I've done. Oh yeah, I've done the Namira quest. That one's actually pretty fun too, even if it forces you to be a cannibal. I've done the Vermina quest where you go clear out the tower of the people that are in the dreams and such.
Yes,
And-
Sheergoroth is good. The Mine
Oh,
of
yes.
Madness to get the Wabbajack.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a bit on the messed up side of things, dealing
Yeah.
with the Wabbajack.
So Phil says when you finish the beacon quest, don't take the sword when she tells you to, or you'll get teleported out, and you don't get to loot or get the shout, and you won't get the key to re-enter.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you've told me that once before, Phil, but I can't remember. Oh, and speaking of, there's one Daedric quest we got to talk about, and that's the Clavicus Vial Daedric quest, because it's possible to
yes.
screw that one up. Because Ash Singh brings up a good point here. He says, I only did the Daedric quests for the artifacts for the Platinum Trophy. Now, with the Clavicus Vial mission, you actually can walk away with one of two rewards, either the Mask of Clavicus Vial or the Rueful Axe. Do not choose the Rueful Axe if you want that achievement, because it doesn't count, and for an axe, it actually has really slow swing time. Not to mention you have to kill a dog to get it.
Yeah, that was pretty much the sole reason why I always walk away with the helm.
Same here.
Now, there's a reason why his name is called Clavicus Vile.
Yes, he is.
Such a vile thing to ask you to do. Hey, come here. I'll give you this, but you gotta kill him. He sucks.
Poor Barbus.
Yeah, poor
Yes.
Barbus is right.
And
Ugh.
speaking of Barbus, he has one of the best voice actors in this game. Just the whole way he talks like this, almost like he's a Ferengi.
Well, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of really great voice acting in this game from like the background cast. I mean, even from the beginning when you hit that first town, I always love hearing "Dragon, I saw a dragon." Shut up, mother. And you're just like, yes, I'm telling you, I saw a dragon. Oh, come inside, mother.
And speaking of good voice acting, we actually had a pretty big star in this game in the form of Max von Sydow. He played the character Esbern. He was the old member of the Blades.
Wow.
Let's
I
see.
did not know that.
Yep. Phil says, talk about marriage options. Yeah, you can get married in this game. And this was the first Elder Scrolls game where you can truly marry anyone regardless of species or gender.
Yep. Well, the Hearthfire mod adds it adds some things to it. Like besides buying the houses, you can build the two, adopt two kids, all the family man type stuff or family woman type stuff. But I've seen mods that would make your skin crawl, or at least it would for you, Paul. It's normal for us. But I've seen mods where you can.
You act as if I haven't seen these two.
Okay, well in that case, you know the mods where you can, if you play as a female, you can get yourself in a situation where you end up having your own children.
Yes.
Oh, the things that people do to this game.
Oh yes. We're going to get into all of that here in just a moment. But yes, the Hearthfire, that's actually a good transition, is talking about the DLCs. Hearthfire is kind of the least of all of them. It adds only expanded, family stuff, building a house.
It's like Animal Crossing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quality of life type stuff.
Right.
Hence why I didn't even bother with that one. It's not until Dawnguard. Dawnguard was where I really where I started.
Dawnguard is my bread and butter. I always play through that. Like, if you play as a vampire, you have to play through Dawnguard. Now, naturally, you can side with the Dawnguard and destroy the vampires, but again, this is probably the closest I will ever go to being evil. I always side with the vampires. Plus, spoiler alert, it really doesn't matter who you side with in the end. You still have to take down Lord Harkin.
Mm-hmm.
Who doesn't love killing vampires?
Yes, or
Who
killing
doesn't love
vampire
Serana?
killers. Yes, and it is a crime that Serana is not able to be married without mods.
And the fact, well, yeah, her standard look is rather plain, but the beautification mods for her make her look mighty, mighty fine.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I must say, with her, if you do, there's one of the mods that I typically see in the various grouping of mods that I've played, where it turns her hair wine red.
I have seen that too. I've even seen them do that with her mother, Valerica.
Yep. Well, if they're vampires, they don't age, so they both should look fairly close to each other.
Yeah. And Esh Singh, by the way, says Lydia is the only true waifu for Laifu, unless you get the Sophia mod, and then it's her. Excellent voice acting and dialogue.
My Lydia died in Bleak Falls Barrow.
I once lost Lydia on Solstheim, trying to do the Dragonborn DLC without mods. My first time ever playing it, and she died to a horde of ash spawn.
Oh, dang. Well, she was sworn to carry your burdens.
She was.
Yes, she mentioned several times. Yep.
And certain Lydia replacer mods make her an essential NPC, so she can't die now.
You can resurrect her, if I'm not mistaken. You can do a resurrection spell on her. Now, she didn't come back like all there, but oh well. Pet Cemetery the bitch and bring her back.
Yeah. You
Let's
could
see.
do that, I guess.
There's an old Ramones song saying that they don't want to be buried in a pet cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not for them.
Yep. But yeah, the Dawnguard DLC, getting to explore this ancient vampire castle, getting to explore a new realm of Oblivion that we hadn't seen since really Daggerfall, in the form of the Soul Cairn, fighting the undead dragon Durnavir, and then going to the Forgotten Vale, the home world, essentially, of the Snow Elves. That was all really cool. And then the final battle against Harkin himself when he's in his monster form is amazing.
Too bad you couldn't get a whip to use in the castle and stuff.
A whip?
Yeah.
For
Oh,
one game called Castlevania.
I don't even know if there's like a modded whip in there.
I've never seen one.
No.
The most out of Skyrim weapon that I've seen have been pole arms. They don't have standard pole arms in the game. But I've never seen a whip. But that would have been cool to, here, have this whip. It's from Simon.
Yep. And then probably the most I've seen, I don't know if this counts as a pole arm, but a quarterstaff. I've seen that in the mod Immersive Weapons get added in.
Yeah. Similar style, two-handed weapon.
Right. So then let's talk about the Dragonborn DLC, which again, talking about Hermaeus Mora, the squid god, he takes center stage of that. And fun fact, I actually played this for the first time on Skyrim on the Switch, so I didn't have any mods where I could cheat my health and make it so I'm pretty much indestructible. And I died so many times during that mission, it wasn't even funny.
It looks totally different from its Morrowind counterpart, because this DLC I remember is on Solstheim. Solstheim is part of Morrowind, as opposed to I think it was the Blood Moon DLC for Morrowind. I think.
Yep, Blood Moon.
Yeah. And I liked Blood Moon a lot, so it was very interesting seeing a very totally different type of design. It was way more mountainous this time compared to its more flat counterpart. Earlier,
and I liked
counterpart.
And I liked how different it looked compared to Skyrim the Continent, because Skyrim the Continent, it's your average plains, forests, and snowy mountains, but now you get to Solstheim, and until you start climbing the mountains, it's an ashy wasteland thanks to the Red Mountain erupting, and there's all these alien-looking creatures, the Netches and such, that just look absolutely amazing. It's not until you start climbing the mountains that you start seeing snow again, and it somewhat looks like Skyrim the Continent again.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you go into Apocrypha, that literally looks like a librarian's hell. Like all this green books, like literally making up the entire landscape, green ink as the seas that you die if you jump into it. And then all the monsters that are inside it. Like, I was almost like, should I be playing this around my parents and such when I was playing it?
Yes, because you've got those freaky fish-like enemies that pop out as well.
Mm-hmm.
Chase you.
And then the floating, I believe they're called Seekers. They kind of look like Hermaeus Mora, but they have more of a body. They levitate off the ground and just shoot magic out of their hands at you. And then, of course, the fight with Mirak himself. As much as I love the fight against Harkin, I like the fight against Mirak more.
Yeah, that was a good one. And yeah, dealing with the Eldrith horror that comes out of that. Ooh, stuff of nightmares.
Oh yes. And that's another mission where you get to fly on a dragon too.
Yes, this was the DLC that gave you the shout for that, wasn't it, if I remember correctly?
Yes,
It
it
was.
was.
Yep. So that is pretty much all of the side quest missions worth talking about. There's a whole bunch of other ones too. Simple fetch quests, some of which may get you another word of power to shout. Some that might not. Some might get you a cool piece of kit. But now let's switch gears and talk about the gameplay and the graphics. Now, I have said multiple times, Skyrim is the first ever open world game I ever played, and it is the standard that I judge other open world games by. Like, for example, the other substantial open world game I've played is Breath of the Wild, which I am not a fan of, both on being a Zelda game and being an open world game. Because Breath of the Wild, the map is too empty, and personally, I prefer the more linear, you have to do these dungeons in a certain order type of gameplay that the past Zelda games had, because it felt like there was more of a story.
You felt a sense of progression with
exactly.
Those. It felt like you were building up to something, and then there was the payoff at the end. Whereas with Breath of the Wild, they give you every ability in the beginning of the game, and they're like, "Oh, go out and explore." And the thing is, the exploration. I mean, the game's beautiful, the controls are great, but there's lack of variety. There's no dungeons. It's all, copy and paste shrines.
Yep, and the Divine Beasts
and even the Divine Beasts even the Divine Beasts are really similar. There's no enemies. It's all basically, it's like playing a puzzle game in a dungeon. Whereas dungeons to me are a mix. There's a little bit of puzzle, but a lot of different types of enemies. And lots of booby traps that you have to avoid and stuff. So, but like there was very little sense of stakes. Whereas Skyrim, like you felt like you had a purpose. You felt like you were part of something, and and it pays off better.
And not just that. Because I'm gonna have to leave here in just a minute.
Okay.
I wanted to say this world is alive. It's alive. It's full. There are animals. You can harvest fruit off of trees. You can harvest berries. You can kill animals for food. You don't have to cook anything. You don't even have to eat anything or drink anything unless you add that. You want to add that. You can add that through all this. But the world is alive. There are birds. There are animals. There are people walking around. There are people off on a chain doing things. where that's not the case in other open world games. Just take a look at what they did with Cyberpunk. You go out in the desert, there's nothing. There's no one, there are no animals, there are no snakes, there are no lizards, there is nothing, there is no dogs, no cats, no anything like that in the entire game world. All there is other human beings walking around, and they're on a very limited chain, whereas in Skyrim there's all kinds of stuff. You could be walking on a trail and suddenly you find someone being escorted by Imperials to have their heads chopped off like you were.
Yeah, and if you approach them, they'll draw their swords and be like, "This doesn't concern you, citizen."
Back off. So where Bethesda has made a ton of mistakes, and these games have ton of bugs, it's a very alive ecosystem where you feel like I am a part of the world here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very akin to what Rockstar did with their games. You know.
Yes.
Yeah, that it is, and they, with the creation kit system, or the base pinnings that underlie the whole entire game, allowing full access to it. The modding community has done lots and lots of fixes and lots of hooking into other scripting systems that allow the world to become even more alive. Like with the SKSE script extender part, you can do things better with your management system, your UI, to everything from survival mods and other things that can completely rewrite the game and make it something completely different. Sex mods. Oh, I said it. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, Paul, I got to get out of here, brother. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Man.
Thank you for because I love modding. I loved modding this game. Absolutely wonderful game. If any of you don't have it out there, get it. You don't have to get the super special $50 edition. Really getting the special edition. There's nothing out there besides just the 4 mods they throw in as it's an anniversary edition. Everything looks the same. So
Right. So real quick, Loki, before you go, is there anything you want to mention that's coming up on your channel?
Oh, sure. I am going to have the lovely, absolutely lovely 6 on Wednesday, and we're going to talk about wrenching on YouTube. So it's going to be part of our YouTube talk, our YouTube Wednesday talk. And we're going to talk to 6 about wrenching for so many different channels, what she does, and have a kick-ass fun time. And of course, tomorrow, Taco Tuesday, Mexican Iron Man. We're going to burn the son of a bitch down. So
awesome. Well, thank you so much, Stone Loki, for coming on here. And I know this is what you use for your super chats, but I want to send you off with Skull!
Hell yeah, brother. You guys take it easy. I can't wait to meet you in Tennessee, dude. I can't wait to referee the big fight with Mexican Iron Man and do the announcing for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world.
It's going to be amazing.
Hell yes. Take it easy, guys. Take care.
Yep.
See you later, man.
Loki. Talk to you soon, man.
Yep. And Brandon, I saw you in the chat. You got to go also.
I do. I need to go hang out with the kidlets for a little bit and then get them to bed. And Cash, hit me up on Twitter here in a bit and we'll talk. And Brian, if you're not busy tomorrow, hit me up too. So fun things are coming my way. And Purple, same deal. Hit me up.
Absolutely.
A lot of hitting for sure.
Oh yeah, hitting is wrong. Hitting is wrong, Cash. You know that.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, you can't slap, but you can hit.
That's right.
Or is that hitting on? I forget. But as far as my final word on this game, this is the one game that, as I said, I've put more time into modding than playing. But this is the one game where I think I've spent the most time ever in.
Right.
So it's well worth your time. And let's see here. Definitely check out the various mods. Nexus Mods is pretty much the main site. There are a few others that other creators do tend to go to, but for the most common stuff, that's the place to go. Let's see. The last list that I ran from Dark Lady Lexus's Skyrim post that I showed you earlier, if I remember correctly, it was close to 700 total mods, and the total size of the game, plus the mods, was close to like 105, 110 gigabytes. So
Good lord.
when you start doing stuff like that, you start doing the graphical upgrades. You know, they did a high def texture pack, but it's only a 1080p ish type pack. You can get you can get visual replacements for about everything, and you can get them all the way up to 4K resolution, so 8 million pixels. You got to do the whole entire thing and to run it the way that you really want to run it. You got to have a beefy PC, and if you don't, you got to be a little more choosy on your mod packs. But once you've got it done and it's all in place, and you can start to play the game, and it all works right, and nothing bugs out or nothing freaks out or trips out or anything like that. You know, no black faces where if you try to do
I've had months, lots of those.
Yeah, there are certain ways you can go about fixing that. It's a pain in the butt, but if you can get it going to where nothing is freaking out, I commend you, because it's a lot of fun and it's hard to do. So
It is.
It's like spinning plates trying to get the mods to work, but it's worth it.
yeah, that it is.
Absolutely.
And if you play it on console, if you've got it on the Xbox One, you'll have more. If you've got some on the PlayStation systems, you'll have some. But once again, Sony gets really touchy about how much access they will allow a game to have modifications done. Whereas with Microsoft, not quite as big a deal, but still nowhere near the level of the PC Master Race. With that, everybody, I'm out. Have a great night.
See you later, man.
Good night.
And Purple and Nerdporeal, I know you guys got to go. Also, I think we're going to go ahead and shut this down for the night if everyone's got to head out of here.
Yeah.
So any final words that you guys want to say on Skyrim? I know we kind of touched on some mods going through, but we didn't touch on a bunch of them. But
Oh,
yeah.
to be honest, we could do a whole separate show about
Oh yeah, we
mods,
could.
because it's so immersive. You know, I think there's something like 70,000 mods that people have made over
Something
the
like
years.
that. And they do all sorts of things, from something as little as, changing the way the menus look and operate, to literally creating entirely new continents in the map, complete with their own missions, NPCs, dialogues, and so on and so forth.
Yes, the modding community has really taken this game and elevated it. It's a great base game. It really is. I love the original game, but it was a complete refresh to get these mods once it was available on console and PC, and it just brought new life back into it.
Modding can be great. Yep.
Absolutely. Just make sure that any instructions that you see with your mod, follow them to the letter.
Yes.
And learn how to order your mods too. Otherwise you will have issues. Whether this is on PC or whether this is on Xbox or anything, learn how to order your mods.
Yeah, make sure you have enough room too.
Oh yes.
Because people have actually destroyed their PCs with Skyrim mods.
Oh yes. Which hopefully doesn't happen to mine. So, Nerdporeal, anything you want to say in closing?
For Skyrim, I mean, I'll be honest, it's been almost a decade since I played it, since I last played it, so I forgot most of it. The only thing that I remember was how the main story and the Dark Brotherhood ends, and of course how you go back to Solstheim after all those years, kind of revisiting that part of Morrowind and stuff was pretty cool. But yeah, Skyrim was pretty cool. It was an awesome experience. It was my first experience playing on a 60-inch TV, so it was an experience altogether. I loved it. I still listen to the soundtracks to this day. I used the Skyrim. I used like one of the ambient soundtracks for my Winds of Winter video. It's because of copyright and stuff. So yeah, it's something. It's just it was a treasure to experience, and I will play Elder Scrolls 6 whenever they decide to finish Starfield, because Starfield is the next game in line before they do Elder Scrolls 6. So they put a whole bunch of games in between Skyrim and 6. Like it was first, it was Fallout 4, then it was that stupid idea on the Fallout. What was it?
76.
Fallout 76, which is a freaking another online game.
It's an online game.
And ESO.
It's barren compared to the Fallout games. Yeah.
And then of course Starfield, which I'm really curious about that one. I know a lot of people don't seem interested, at least people I know, but I'm curious what they're going to do with that.
When we finally see gameplay, it'll help for sure.
It will.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think they confirmed it's going to come out this year. I think.
Starfield?
Yeah.
I will definitely check that one out. See, because I'm sure it's going to be in some ways similar to this in Fallout 4.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, guys, I think that's going to do it for us tonight. Real quick, Cash, Purple, and Nerdporeal, do you guys each want to go around and plug anything up coming up on your channel?
Sure. I know on Thursday I'm planning to do a stream talking about Forbidden Planet, and Loki's going to be one of my few guests I'm going to have talking about that. So it's going to be him and Keith from Pop Culture Archivist, I believe, and Baron Ormantag. So those are the three that are going to be on with me to talk Forbidden Planet. So yeah, if you're a fan of science fiction, if you're a fan of original Star Trek, well, a lot of ideas from a few episodes of the original Star Trek, including my cheesiest episode, Spock's Brain, was derived from that movie.
I believe it.
So check that out, and of course, Lord of the Rings, Two Towers next Saturday. We're gonna do disc 2 of the extended version. So
and I will be there for that.
And we're gonna get through this. The question is, will they survive? Will the Kingdom of Rohan survive at Helm's Deep? We'll find out.
Yep.
And if I can get a hold of my friend, I was gonna do another Trekporial episode on Sunday, talking about the best Garrick episodes of DS9.
Okay.
If he ever gets back to me, that is. If not, then no Trekporial on Sunday. So
right. Real quick, I put a link in the chat. This is Coffee on Korriban's channel. He is currently streaming, and as soon as this stream is done, I'm going to be popping onto his stream, but we're going to go raid it. Okay. So, Purple, anything you want to mention for your channel coming up?
Yeah, firstly, thank you for inviting us today. This was awesome. Really loved getting to talk Skyrim. Always loved the game.
Thank you for being here.
Like you say, you could do several parts of this as a retrospective because there is so much to cover with it. So thank you so much.
Oh, no problem.
Coming up, we've got a busy week. So I've got my regular shows. I've also got the True Crime, Dark and Disturbing on Wednesday coming up in the evening. And Friday, it's a very special show because it's my birthday.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
So, lots of streams upcoming.
If you would like, I can pop on there and sing you happy birthday.
I would love that. Absolutely.
It'll just depend on what time in the day it is, because I do also work that day.
Yes, it might be a little bit later on, to be honest. So it won't be a morning show, I think. Just
okay.
Just for convenience for everybody. So it might be more of an afternoon show, I think.
Okay.
Before FMT.
Fair enough. And then Cash, anything to mention with the hooligans?
The hooligans, yeah, I'm gonna have some gaming videos up soon that I've been working on. I'm gonna have one up for Bravely Default, tell people why Japanese RPG games are still relevant. So I'll have that up soon, and then hopefully we'll be doing some. Gonna be working on some Switch gaming that I want to. Hopefully, a lot of people will join. Mario Kart, different games, Mario Golf. So. We'll see how that goes, but definitely the videos will be up this week of the gaming. So yeah,
awesome. Well, guys, we're gonna go ahead and end this now. So thank you everyone on the panel who appeared. This was one of the best streams that I've ever had. And thank you guys in the chat for watching this. And I will give you guys one more reminder. This channel, Master Paul's Game Room, is the second channel The main channel is the Star Wars guy, so if you are not subscribed there, please go subscribe there. If you're not subscribed here, please go subscribe here, because to quote my good friend Coffee on Korriban, who we're about to go raid, subscribing costs nothing. So, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this. Make sure to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already, and just remember everyone, gaming is for everyone. See you guys later. And I know this is going to say the Forces family here in just a moment, but this is the outro for the main channel. But you know what? The Force is family. Doesn't matter whether it's this channel or the other one. See you guys later.
Good night.